Here are some things that I've noticed, some commonalities, things which are completely the same across all borders and all cultures, at least the ones that I've seen and visited so far. The language of common sense, common respect. You don't mess with people's money, their belongings, their children, unless you want problems. You wash your bowl or your plate if somebody was nice enough to cook for you. If you make a mess, clean it up. Simple. In learning Spanish, is it difficult? Yes. It is difficult because it's different. You don't translate things directly. But for instance, the word for how, so if you need to ask somebody how much, generally speaking, how much money for this? How much? Well, the word for how is como. The word for much is mucho. But if you walk in somewhere and you say, como mucho, nobody's going to have any clue what you're talking about. The word for that is one word, cuantos. How much? Cuantos. So yes, a bit of a difficult language and different, and I want to speak with the proper accent, and I want to sound proper, and I'm learning Spanish from a bunch of people who speak with a lot of slang. So I'm also doing my own lessons a few hours a day. Well, at least one hour a day. Learning, learning the names of objects and things like that is quite easy. ¿Cómo se dice en español? En inglés, keys. En español, ¿cómo? Llaves. Llaves, sí, llaves, yo lo entiendo. I feel like a baby. I feel as though I've just come into the world and I have to relearn everything. Everything is different. The lifestyle here is much different than an American lifestyle. I'm in basically a small mountain town, and it's pretty slow paced, and which honestly I'm enjoying, because my life has been so crazy for so long. But it's pretty simple. If you need to wash clothes, you wash clothes, you get up, you have breakfast, you hang out, conversate. It's another thing that I actually really like about this culture is that people don't spend all day on their phones. In the United States, we're so connected and so far apart. We're so compartmentalized at this point there. It's much different here. A very common thing for Ticos to do is, hey, get in the car. Why? Oh, no reason. We're just going to drive around. And then you drive around, and if you see somebody you know, you stop, pull over, hang out on the side of the street for a few minutes. Not uncommon at all to see 3 cars stacked up together as 3 people ran into each other that know each other, and now they're having a meeting in the middle of the street. It's not illegal. You can do that. If a car comes, somebody moves so they can go. I mean, the community here is very, very tight. Everybody knows everybody. What am I eating? Well, mostly rice and beans. So a typical breakfast would have something like scrambled eggs, rice and beans, and toast. It's pretty typical. You have rice and beans with everything here. It's part of the national dish with chicharron, which is like, it's not what we would typically think of as chicharron, but I mean, the word is the same for each. So chicharron in the United States is usually like, fried pork rinds, but it's like the rind with the meat, and it's all fried together, and it's sometimes smoked beforehand. Oh god, it's so good. But anyway, rice and beans together with some other ingredients. They call it pintogaya, and you have that with pretty much everything. It's really, really good. They eat a lot of plantains here. There's a lot of queso or cheese, which is typically like a mozzarella type cheese. And queso frito is really good. It's basically just like a piece of mozzarella cheese that's been fried on both sides. It's amazing. Really enjoy that. They'll also do that and sandwich it between two tortillas, or fold one over and kind of make like a little mini quesadilla. And it's really good. It's like a grilled cheese, basically. Quite a bit of bread. I mean, there's meat of various kinds that are put in it, but the meat is not typically the star of the dish. But chicken, pork, carne, beef, whatever. It's here. They eat it. Garbanzo beans, chickpeas. The diet is great. The diet is really good. There are no fast food restaurants anywhere near where I'm at. It's all small businesses and people. There's a lot of immigrants here. People from China, people from different parts of the world. I'm so far the only gringo I've seen. Actually, no. I saw one other. It was an old white woman. She was being very rude. And it was embarrassing. Honestly. The people that live here went to the grocery store, and you know what they came back with? Nothing but amazing looking vegetables. And I think a loaf of bread. And you have to be careful with your money here, for the simple fact that it's not cheap. Things are, especially in the smaller areas, which are nicer and safer. Well, obviously you have to pay for transport for the stuff to get there, and import taxes are very high here. They take a lot of pride in their domestic product, and intend to preserve the integrity of their own industries, which is great. However, for anybody trying to import goods, it becomes not difficult to resell them, but everybody understands that you're going to pay a premium for it. But in general, prices are somewhat similar, maybe a little higher than the United States here. At least in the places that I've visited so far. So not cheap, but not unbearable. But very, very middle class. Properties. There was a property, it was like maybe 1/4 of an acre. No, nowhere close, maybe an eighth. And it was about $70,000, and it wasn't the prettiest looking house I had ever seen. Definitely a lot of potential, but real estate is fairly high here as well. Driving. After about a week of being terrified, I did finally start driving here. And driving is a little bit different. The stop sign is merely a suggestion. You can stop if you want to. Most people just slow down enough to make sure that nobody else is coming. There's a lot of motorcycles. A lot of people riding motorcycles all over the place. People, I've noticed the locals and in riding with other people, they get very, very close to pedestrians. And there's a lot of street dogs too, and nobody seems to slow down. Like, everybody knows the scoop. Everybody knows what to do. So, but it's different. There's not less consideration. There's a lot of consideration for other people here. Respect is a big thing here, but I don't know. That just. The other thing is, in the United States, we're used to having so much space. The roads are huge, plus a shoulder that's basically the width of the lane most of the time. You have plenty of room to maneuver. Here, no. The streets are narrow, line in the middle, ditch on either side. So, yeah, it's different. It's different. But anyway, I'm saying that to illustrate that people are used to living in very close quarters. It's a very small country. The houses, same thing. I mean, right next to each other. And a little bit smaller than what a typical American home would look like. But all that having been said, it's nice here. You know, the terms third world, second world, and first world are outdated. Nobody uses them anymore. But I would describe this as a developing nation, but a nation with a rich culture, rich food, a rich sense of family, and it's beautiful. And the more that I've thought about it, it probably wouldn't be a great thing for this place to become fully developed. Because with that comes more problems, more pollution, more damage to the ecology. Everybody has very nice things, but the culture here is one of reduce, reuse until it doesn't exist anymore. Not too many things are too new. But when you're constantly buying new things that you don't need just to have them, just to buy something, just to, you know, what's the point in that? So you use it until it breaks, and then you fix it, and then you use it until it breaks again, and fix it one or two more times before you finally throw it out. If you get a bag from the store, you don't throw the bag away, you keep the bag. You don't know what you might need the bag for later on. You know, just little things like that. The common household does not produce a lot of trash here. Like, per person, per week, you might fill up like one thank you bag from the market or the grocery store. I mean, you just don't go through that much. Or at least you don't have to. I mean, you certainly can, but at least as far as what I've seen. So on trash day, so everybody has fences here, and all the houses are, and businesses as well, are burglar proofed. So to an outsider, it looks like, hey, this might be a bad part of town, but it's like that everywhere in this country. Bars on the windows, barbed wire wrapped around everything. You can't get into anything. They're very secure, very high on security here. They don't have a military. All they have are police. So if something goes down, I mean, people rely on themselves here. But anyway, back to the trash situation. Yeah, everybody has fences, and then you take your little trash bag. I have not seen like a I would call it large. I'm sure they would too, like a 13-gallon kitchen bag. Haven't seen one. Almost everybody uses the small bags from the store, and they just reuse them. But my first week here, I filled up one of those bags with, you know, various trash, You tie it up, you take it, you hang it on the fence, and then the trash people come once a week and they take it off. There's like little, like, I guess like public trash areas where you can place trash, and the people will come pick it up. But that's more for, like, you know, you bought a drink, you're walking down the street, you just finished it, you put it in the trash can. No, not much trash here. There's a lot more that I could say that would in no way capture the experience of actually being here. As far as learning Spanish, I can get along just fine. I can go into a store or a restaurant and ask for just about anything that I need. The thing that I struggle with the most is the small words, the if-then type words, and how to structure that properly. But I've learned a ton in a very short amount of time. I'm picking it up very quickly. And the biggest thing that has helped me is just talking with people. And don't be afraid to sound ignorant. You have to start somewhere. And most people will be like, oh, you don't know any Spanish? Like, yeah, I mean, and they'll start picking up objects and telling you what it is. And they'll help you most of the time. So don't be afraid to practice or to use it if you want to learn, you know, not just Spanish, but any other language. You have to practice. Repetition and doing it consistently. I study all the time, all day long. I have to relearn everything. Everything is a different name now. Another thing which can make Spanish very difficult is the fact that things are like, okay, so like I mentioned earlier, translations are not direct translations. So if I want to say, I'm from the United States, from North Carolina, I would say, soy de Estados Unidos, Carolina del Norte. So if in a direct translation, that would be, I'm from States United, Carolina of North. But when translated, it's, I'm from the United States, from North Carolina. If you want to describe the color of a vehicle, say, maybe it's a red car. Un carro rojo, right? So you say the object first and then the descriptor, but not always. So yeah, it's a difficult language. All things considered, I'm adapting well and enjoying myself, and I'm very comfortable here. I don't have any problems. I have a few friends. I have some people that will look out for me. I'm eating really, really well. Now, I'm not skipping any meals. Plenty of sun. Plenty of fruit. And doing well. I'm certainly not thinking about leaving anytime soon. Man, you don't know how good it feels to not be in a car after having been in one with 2 dogs. It's like 100 degrees outside, literally. I don't think I'd ever do that again. God allowed the invention of airplanes for a reason. So what now? What about tattooing? I'm not working, first of all. I'm taking some time off. Till probably February. during that time. I'll practice my Spanish. I want to become fluent in 6 months. I think I can do it faster than that. Probably tattoo myself some. I won't work as a tattoo artist, but if somebody wants to barter food or a place to stay or something else that I require, I might make a few tattoos. Make a few art pieces, rest, relax, eat, calm down. You know, I've 2 weeks of being on the road through Latin America. I mean, it's exhausting because you want to be aware at all times. I'm pretty sure one of those Mexican police stole a really nice Bulova watch I had, which was like, I don't know, $800. So I'm kind of pissed about that, but I knew better than to bring that down there. Should have sold it before I left. Other than that, I don't think they took anything. My bag, I'm sure, was super suspicious because it had all these blocky things in it, which were boxes of tattoo cartridges, so I can't tell you how many times the cops strew all that shit all over the road and search through it. I mean, I'm exaggerating. They didn't like sling it all over the road, but yeah, they had like all my tattoo equipment like on the pavement. And I'm like, man, every single time we passed a checkpoint in Mexico, we were searched. Every single time. We really didn't have many issues at all in the other countries. In fact, I don't think we got searched once we left Mexico. I don't know what's going on with Mexico, but the other countries don't do that for whatever reason. I mean, they have like the same kind of setup, you know, they've got traffic cones and there's like a few of them standing there, and sometimes they'll tell you to stop, sometimes they'll wave you on through. It was, even though I documented the entire trip, it's difficult to put into words the experience itself, and that only captures a really small amount of it. And there were so many times and so many moments where I was a day late and $1 short and couldn't get my camera up in time. But something else that I have is a lot of dash cam footage. I mean, a ton of it. Like days worth. Like literal days worth that I have to sift through. So hopefully find some more cool content to pull out of that. I'm sure I will. It was an amazing experience. Difficult, frustrating, rewarding. 2 weeks in a car, I've never done that before. We covered, I think, over 4,000 miles. In a Toyota Corolla, 2014. It looked beat to death. I paid cash for it because my other car, the transmission blew up in. So, anyway. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure how long I've been here at this point. It's been over a week, maybe 2. I'll be honest, that first week was just kind of a blur. I didn't do much of anything but sleep. I could not sleep on the road. I mean, I had so much adrenaline going, and I wanted to reach my destination. That was not a relaxing trip at all. And sitting in a car for that long, for that many days, like, it hurts. It hurts your back. It's not fun. I would not recommend doing what I did. A once-in-a-lifetime experience, but not one that I wish to repeat, ever. And my people here are talking about flying to Mexico to buy some cars and asking me to come along and take the trip again, and I just don't think I'm going to do that. anyway, yeah, it took a while for it to kind of just like sink in that I'm like in a completely new place in the world, in an entirely new culture. But it's becoming more natural. I've got a lot of people that are helping me out, advising me about certain things. But no, walk into the store. ¿Tienes esto, Costa? Yo necesito. Ayúdame. Avísame dónde. ¿Dónde está? Estoy buscando para esto. ¿Tú tienes aquí? ¿Dónde? ¿Allá? ¿O ahí? Oh, tú tienes aquí.